Okay, so this time, just kind of putting some thoughts down, trying to make like a working list of ideas because I just need to have some concepts in mind before I start recording. Otherwise, I'm just kind of rambling on about the same thing, and I don't want to feel like I'm repeating myself. I think it's okay to touch on subjects again, like every now and then, because you might come back with a refreshed perspective, or just might have something to add to it. So I'll definitely be doing that. But I think for the most part, I just want to have like a working list of ideas, just to like have something to reference that I can talk about. So I think like obviously like a big one is my like what I do for work, like my career, and uh, so like touching on like me being a graphic designer in like the apparel space, clothing, streetwear, or just trying to be in that space, and like the struggles that come with finding your path as a designer, and like even the idea of burnout and hitting a wall creatively. I think there's definitely something there to be said. Um, I think also maybe touching more on maybe like I don't know the perception of being a father or like becoming a dad, and like how I envision myself like raising my son, because it's like that's something that I've you think about every now and then, but once it's like starts to like once it's really happening, then it's like okay, like what am I actually doing? Like how does that actually look in reality? Um, and like all the ins and outs about that, and like me changing as a person, and hopefully becoming more mature and like handling situations better, and like thinking about others and not myself, which I'm not, I don't necessarily do that to begin with. I definitely am not like egotistical or selfish, and like in most ways I would hope that I'm not. I don't think that I am. But yeah, I think it's just like now you have to put another human before you, like completely, like in like yes, you could argue like you should already be doing that with your partner that you're with, um, and I definitely do. For the most part, I could definitely be better about that. I could definitely put her, you know, I could think about her in more ways than I already am, which I think I could definitely do better about. But then also in the context of having a baby, the baby comes first before anything else. In the right context. Like I'm not trying to be like one of those people that will let the mom die just to save the baby. It's like that's not okay. That I'm not going down that road. Anyway. Okay, so that's one area. Um, Another area that I think is maybe a little bit less heavy is just like my like general interest, right? So my background, like I really love cars. I grew up around cars. Um, touching on that. But then it's like I don't know, like I don't really want it to be. I mean, I can touch on it every now and then. Like I think it's fine for me to like bring up cars every now and then if I'm like excited about it. But yeah, it's like because I think I'm like hesitant on talking about cars and just in general because I tried doing the car YouTube channel and it didn't really sit well, and like I don't know, like something about it just feels off to me. Um, maybe I'm not in the right time of my life to be like making content about cars because like I don't know. I think I've like fallen out of love with cars for the most part. Um, just because like I've gotten you get older, your priorities shift, uh, and also the biggest aspect of it too is just like money. Like the financial aspect is just like it's a lot. It's expensive to own, fun cars that you want to put, time and effort into, and you want to like, make modifications to. You want to buy parts. You want to, do the whole thing, and like you have all these ideas, and then you get really disappointed when you can't do them because you just don't have enough money to do it, and that sucks. It's like, then kind of like, what's the point? So I think maybe like later on I'll touch on that again. Like, I'm driving a '03 Subaru Forester that I traded my Miata for, which at the time was like, I wasn't necessarily excited about, but it's something you just like. It's like one of those things where you just got to do what you got to do, and then you'll like just get through to the other side, and then everything will be fine. Eventually, I want to get another exciting car, but something that's still practical, that has a back seat. All of my cars before this didn't have back seats, so they were not practical, especially in the context of having a baby. So I just needed something with a back seat, and I also needed something with a big trunk, in the context of like, you got to carry a stroller, you got to, let's say we go on road trips, or more stuff like in a family perspective. You need space. You need to be able to help out. Or if if I'm like transporting stuff or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Just something that's more practical. And eventually I want to get to a car that's fun again, but still has that practicality. And I've been like thinking about like the Civic Type R for a while, or just like the new Civics in general. They're pretty nice. And I was like very like anti like front wheel drive. But at this point, it's like, who cares? Like, I'm not drifting, I'm not drag racing anything. It's like why does that matter? You know what I mean? Like, all of my previous cars were real wheel drive. But then it's like, I mean, sure, you could argue sometimes the handling is a little bit better if you really lean into it, but I don't even do that for the most part. Maybe I'll do an occasional like intense drive here and there, but for the most part, not really. It's like I mainly care about the looks of the car, the comfort, does it drive well? Yes, obviously. You want it to feel good. But then now like you add in like practicality and also like my commute is just like 2 hours a day, so I need something that can just be like chill and like easy. And like, yes, I love driving stick, but doing it like 2 hours a day, stop and go traffic, it's just like it's a nightmare. It sucks. So anyway, yeah, I think eventually I'll get to that point. Civic Type R, that's kind of like on the horizon. But yeah, I'm sure I can get there. So that's another topic, car stuff. I contemplated like getting into like, even more personal stuff like finances, which I think, like, I honestly might do that because it's like, it's a big part of my life. It's something that I deal with, pretty much every day or every week. It's always on my mind, and I'm not great with finances. It's something that I struggle with. It's something that I've been trying to get better at, but I keep hitting like, kind of the same roadblocks every now and then, and so I think maybe there is substance in like talking about that, and I'm sure plenty of people can relate to the situation that I'm in. It's a very common situation. I think in general, as Americans or as people in the U.S., we don't get a lot of education around money, or as much as we would like. And I'm speaking relatively. Like, I know like other countries have it way worse. I'm not trying to be like out of touch. But for me, it's just like there's a lot that I've missed out on in terms of like learnings and like experience with money, and like how to handle money, how to deal with finances, like just even like how to think about money. So I think there is something there to be said, and I'm sure people could relate to that, and it'd be interesting to hear other people's perspectives on it. It's like, how do you deal with those tough situations, and how do you get out of it, you know, a lot of it is like mindset and, you know, perspective. And so yeah, I don't know. But I think that could be a potentially good topic for a video. But I want to like really get deep into that, because I think it deserves like, you know, a full amount of attention. Yeah, I guess what else? I think also just talking about like I mentioned like my career stuff and like, you know, being a graphic designer, like in like a professional setting, but also I think there's also something to be said about, you know, trying to find your own path, and like make a business for yourself, right? Like whether it starts out as a hobby and you turn it into a company, or like a business, and then it blows up. And like, because I've seen a lot of like small businesses pop up over the last few years, and a lot of them have been super successful and have essentially like blown up within a really short amount of time. And they range from like all types of different like products and styles and whatnot. And I think that like that's something that I really want to lean into more, because I have my own brand, actually two, that I've kind of like dabbled in and you know, really tried to make them work in one way or another. But there's definitely a lot to figure out there. It becomes very overwhelming sometimes. And at the end of the day, it's like you have to learn how to like build a community to make, you know, a small brand successful. It's like if people don't know that it exists, no one's gonna, you know, buy into it. No one's gonna like support it or be interested in it if they don't know about it, you know. So yeah, eventually I want to like touch on that. I think that could be cool. Maybe that'll like spark some like new ideas, and, you know, hopefully get some people looking at the brand again. And yeah, I think again that also deserves its own video, and maybe like a series of videos. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's like a pretty good starting point. At least I'm like kind of getting the ball rolling on like things to talk about. Because I think at the end of the day, it's like I want to keep this consistent. I don't want to like not make videos just because I'm not thinking about things. Like, even if it's me coming on here and just like, you know, like ranting about something random or whatever, like I think that's fine. Like I don't want to set up any expectations for what this should be. At least not right now, because it's still too early to say. And yeah, I mean, if you found this at this point, you know, I appreciate you sticking around. I have like a couple other videos that should be up by now. Like, I'm kind of stockpiling them right now. This is like the 5th day recording. I think I've done it like every day this week so far. So I think I'll probably upload all of these at the same time, and then, you know, from there go to a more of a consistent upload schedule. I want to try to at least like upload maybe twice a week. I'll start off with one. I don't want to, like, again, I'm not trying to set myself up for like expectations or like, you know, jump the gun or anything. But yeah, if you've like found this randomly, if the algorithm like threw it in your face one day, then I appreciate you for watching. You know, I'm sorry for the mess. It's kind of random. It's all over the place. I'm just trying to figure it out. But it's like, I don't want to. I'm just tired of like the excuses of not doing it. Like, oh, it's not polished. It's not perfect. I'm not following a script. Like, or it's not properly edited, or like the thumbnail isn't great. None of that matters at this point. And I think, you know, if this is like a testament to the whole process, and like if you're contemplating doing something, even if it's not YouTube, and you're worried about it being perfect, maybe just don't worry about that. You know, I know it's easier said than done, but just put something out. even if you might not like it, someone else might, and even if they don't, who cares? At the end of the day, who cares? That's what I'm trying to tell myself. Stop caring so much. Yeah. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one.